Hey everyone, this is Ying. Welcome back to my channel. And it's been a long time. I think it's about 9 months since my last video submission. And I don't have any reasons for that really. I think it's just time moves too fast. I just want to start this video with me starting over with a new palette. Lately I did not do a lot of gouache painting, so it kind of resulted my paints to dry and brittle over time. So I thought of a good idea to just restart the whole thing and to restart again with gouache. I did not actually tell you about me trying acrylic gouache, and I was actually trying to work with this new medium until I didn't really like it as much, so I went back to gouache, and here I am restarting my new palette with all these colors. I'm going to list all these colors that I use down in the description below, and these are the colors that I always use, and I always feel like they are vibrant than I thought. So my previous video of when I prepare my palettes, I actually added too much colors, and some of the colors are the ones that I don't really like. And this is how I prepare my palette. I spray them over with water and just close the lid to start my painting. This painting right here, I don't really have a in-depth description of it. I just felt like doing flowers and goldfishes, and I wanted to create a symbiotic relationship between these two elements. It somewhat feels very related to what I'm feeling right now and on what we are facing right now, most likely the pandemic that we have. And in case you don't know, Malaysia is getting worse and worse each day with high amount of cases, and it's not something that I'm very happy to hear, but the vaccination rates are actually much more increased, which is something that I can see more hope in it. I guess that's the only solution for that. And throughout this year, I've been trying to learn how to be myself. I think it's something that I did not look in depth with, in a way that I don't feel myself. I think it's because I've been swayed by emotions and getting affected by what is happening in the world. And so I just try to be simple and just paint whatever I want. And so this video is all about me painting this painting that I have no plans for it. I just wanted to let my hands move, and I feel like it's a bad idea, but at the same time I just wanted this for myself. And that is something that I learned, that it is very important. I mean, for many years of painting, I thought that I would see this coming, but sometimes you just feel more blinded with what is happening around you, and you just don't understand yourself anymore. So my point is, before this painting, I was actually doing another painting with hornbills in it, and it took me about 3 weeks. I kept revising, I kept changing. I was working with acrylics, and I didn't like the results. So I have to put it aside because I feel like there's no way to go with this. I cannot paint with such mindset that I have right now. And so I started a new painting, which this one took me about 2 weeks to finish. And it's not about how long it takes. I think it's about how I enjoy the process. And this one, I can tell you that I somehow enjoyed it. I don't know what it is. I think it's because I just wanted to paint whatever I want for myself. I just don't want to pressure myself to finish this painting in a week or in a few days. Sometimes I tend to pressure myself from posting regularly on Instagram, and it's actually very sad for me to be binded my emotions with that social media app. And I've been very absent from that app, and I did not really look into my Instagram account anymore. I don't know how I would return. That's why I thought of filming this painting. I thought of returning on YouTube just to take a break from Instagram. I am most active in Instagram before, but right now I feel like I wanted to change some waves to see if I would like YouTube. I don't really see YouTube as a monetary option. I just wanted a place for me to record my journey. I want to document my thoughts, my experience, so that I can look back in the future. I can look back on what I did, and it serves a permanent record for me. Whereas in Instagram, it's all in pictures or short videos where you can't even see the whole context. And so yeah, that's why I chose to return to YouTube. Well, before this, I was very introverted in a way that I just don't want to share anything online. I think it's part of me being in a rut. I don't want to say that I'm depressed. I don't think I am depressed. I just feel like I'm just not keen on sharing things online. So therefore, I just like to keep it myself, being absent from Instagram. I probably fell in the depths of the algorithm, but I just don't care about that because all I care is about my mental health and ability to self-expression. I think that is actually very important as an artist. I don't want to see numbers. I don't want to see any comments. I just want to feel like I'm happy with my own work. And this painting right here somehow moved me a little. It doesn't have to be a very pretty painting, I feel. As long as it brings meaning to me, and I feel like I'm looking forward to continue this painting, and that's something that I'm really holding it valuable. So let me talk about the process of this painting. I wanted this to have a very soft feel, so that's why I took a watercolor approach with gouache, meaning I add a lot of water and I'll add layers and layers of colors. So in a way, it'll look more soft, and I can actually control the saturation or the viscosity of paint on the painting. And this one here, I actually changed a few things along the way, which I think it's pretty normal when you're doing your own personal work. I wanted to take an approach that it is somehow like the goldfishes swimming across corals. In this case, they are flowers. I like to add succulents because I used to paint a lot of succulents back in the past when I started painting for a living, and I paint peonies a lot too. So I wanted to bring myself back to the past, to bring back what I loved painting before, and try to enjoy those moments when I was very motivated, very driven back then, and I wanted to bring back that feeling into this painting. And I know that it's not much for you to actually see in this painting, but I really love adding layers on the succulents. Like, I really enjoy painting succulents, really, but sometimes when you try to paint a illustration, you want to have a story with it. Therefore, I just don't find any elements that I can actually relate with succulents. But in this piece, I feel like I can actually take that pleasure to draw as much succulents as I want to. And here, the process of adding layers, it's not that slow. It's just that you need to take things comfortable with the whole picture. So when you paint an illustration, you just don't focus on one section of the time. Of course, at this painting, I would want the viewer to focus on this goldfish that is behind that is in front of the chrysanthemum, and that's the area where I spend most of my detail time, and try to make it as bright as possible so that you can create a focus on this painting.
So many thoughts, age 12 to 17. Okay, focus, Tina. Dance here somewhere. All we have to do is stay in line, not get distracted. Good.
So basically, I actually feel very comfortable when it's raining. I mean, the temperatures in Malaysia sometimes can go as high as 33 degrees. It is very, very hot AF. And so when the weather turns gloomy and it's rainy, it feels really good to paint, but sometimes your paints can get dry over time very fast, which is very ironic. And it happened to me because I paint under a fan to keep myself cool. I don't want to on the AC because it's very dry. So you see, it's very hard for me to paint under these circumstances. And especially living in a tropical country, it is very easy to get humidity into your paint. This is the part where I take a hard look into my painting. I sometimes spend about 10 to 15 minutes just to stare at my painting. I'm not sure if that is a very weird habit, but I tend to stare at it when I was doing my workout, because that is usually the time where I get ideas on how to revise, ideas on how to fix this painting in a way that how to make this better. And prior to watercolors, I actually plan to make this as a mixed media. That is to put color pencils, sometimes gouache or watercolors. You can't actually make colors as vibrant as they look or as I expected. So that's why I use the help of color pencils to enunciate and accentuate. Is that a word? Accentuate those features. Accentuate? Well, never mind. It's just to bring out the features, just like makeup, where you work on your face to bring up those features. So that's basically what I do. I just don't try to color the whole thing with color pencils. I just try to color the ones that I wanted to bring solid texture. I want to solidify, and there are parts where I wanted to soften it. So that's why I like to use my fingers to smudge it. And what I like about this Prismacolor pencils, these color pencils they were with me for almost 10 years. It is actually my birthday gift, and I'm still using it right now, and I'm so amazed that it still works. Well, whereas some color pencils, they break on me over the years. So I'm pretty happy that I don't have to spend extra money to get a new set of color pencils. And so these Prismacolors, what I really like about them is that you can actually blend in different colors. Let's say if I want to use blue, I can actually use a little bit of green to blend in it, and it doesn't look very obvious, especially when you see those textured details on it. And you can actually smudge it with your fingers or with tissue. I don't like to use tissue, whereas I like to use my fingers. It's just a preference. And this is the part where you see where I like to use two different colors to blend, and it blends beautifully, and I really like the effect. That's one argument I have with myself. I don't really have arguments with anyone. I usually have it with myself, is that I'm afraid that if I am cheating using color pencils on my gouache painting. And I came to a conclusion thinking that nobody even cares what you use. They only care about the results. Other than that, if this work is for yourself, I think it's no problem for you to make it mixed media. And I think that is the most important thing for you, to not set boundaries. You can set limitations, but if your gut tells you to use something else, I think it's actually very, very important to listen to that gut. and that is the important lesson that I've learned. I've been doing this for most of my commission paintings, where when you paint watercolor, the paper is crooked and it's not nice. So what I did is I would place an acrylic sheet on the bottom, and I would spray a good amount of water just to coat the paper. So what it does, it actually stretches your paper. It actually absorbs your paper and you can actually mold it into the shape that you want. It does not affect your painting. I can assure that, because I've done this quite a few times already. And I wanted to use butter paper, or you can actually use newsprint paper, and then you can put on the heavy books. In this case, the only heavy books that I have are my cookbooks. They're not even mine, they are my husband's. I don't even read, you see. And so these books are very, very handy because they're very heavy, which is good. And you just leave it overnight. I put mine under a fan, and the next morning I put it out. I just gonna take it out, and then you will see that your painting will get flattened in no time. So this is the trick that I like to use. I don't use the masking tape technique because I don't like to rip off the paper. And so yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this video, and probably I will upload more often soon, but I cannot guarantee about it. So yeah, bye.